Real quick before this podcast starts, I want to give a massive shout out to my sponsors. First things first, shout out to Dubby. If you guys want a good replacement to your energy drinks, check out Dubby.gg. Use code Jesus392 for 10% off. You won't regret it, I promise. I'm 2 tubs in, by the way. I also want to give a massive shout out to HollowHues.com. If you guys want some Christian clothing, check them out. They got amazing graphic designs. Use code Jesus392 for 20% off orders, $50 and up. You won't regret it. Enjoy the podcast. Love you all. Catch you later. What would you do if you were stranded in a different state that's halfway across the country compared to your home state? Would you be scared or would you know exactly what to do? Well, shit, I for sure didn't. And I got terrified of almost being stuck in Virginia on my last day there. Today I'm going to be telling the story of how I almost got stranded in Virginia early August of this year. Now, I know I already told this story on my YouTube channel, but I left out key parts mainly because I didn't take the time to actually write a script for it. And instead, I decided to freestyle it like the smart man I am. So if you haven't seen that storytime video, honestly, just ignore it and listen to this episode on 392 Talks. Without further ado, sit back, relax, get some snacks, and chillax. Here we go. So last year, I signed up to fight on Street Beefs for the very first time. Event went smoothly, and travel went even more smoothly. And the unintentionally important part was I planned an extra day on that trip to relax, which is why I was able to make it to the airport on my last day with no issue. This year, I went back to fight on Street Beefs in Virginia, but this time, I only planned for 3 days on my trip instead of the 5 that I did last year, which turned out to almost be a huge mistake. Day 1, July 31st. Friday the 31st, a day after my birthday. After celebrating my birthday with the boys on the 25th and seeing my girl at the time on the 30th, aka my birthday, I felt ready and confident to fly out. I wake up at 3:30 in the morning after getting my suitcases ready prior that night, and my lovely mother agreed to take me to the airport that early in the morning, surprisingly. I loaded up my stuff and made it to the airport at 4 in the morning since my flight was at 6. Now, for some reason, the line at TSA is always packed, which is honestly annoying as fuck. Like, I'm dead tired, ready to fall asleep standing, and there's a long ass line at 4 in the morning. Like, bruh, come on. After 10 to 20 minutes of just standing, I got sent to a line for them to check my carry-on, which surprisingly went faster than waiting in the actual line. After they go through my carry-on and my personal item bag, I quickly made my way to where the trains go towards the gate. And honestly, I was low-key kind of sad because I didn't get Chick-fil-A since they were closed at that time, since they don't open till like fucking 8 in the morning, I believe. But anyways, fast forward, I end up boarding the plane and I actually fly over to Virginia. After 3 hours, I finally made it, and honestly, nostalgia just hit me like a truck. Surprisingly, I somehow remembered most of that airport from last year, and I definitely remembered standing outside waiting for an Uber at the same spot that I got picked up last year. But anyways, the Uber comes through and he takes me over to Winchester, VA, which was an hour away. I set the destination to their local mall. It was called Apple Blossom Mall. And for a small mall, they actually got everything you'd want in there, surprisingly. The main thing I really wanted there, though, was the Chick-fil-A since I couldn't get it at the airport. I ordered and got my Chick-fil-A finally, and I just sat down until 3 p.m. so I could check in for my hotel later. After a while of just waiting and scrolling TikTok, 3 p.m. finally arrived, and I ordered another Uber to take me to the hotel. The Uber shows up in 10 minutes and takes me there, surprisingly pretty quick. Once I made it, my first initial thought was, damn, this building is like small as fuck. But for the price I paid, it was honestly understandable. So, I mean, you can't really complain, you know? But once I actually stepped foot in, my mind just changed just like that. For it being a mid-sized hotel, it was not that bad looking by any means on the inside. It was definitely, I'd say, fancy as fuck on the inside. Anyways, I got up to the desk, I got my key card, I checked in, and then I went up to head up to my room. And oh my goodness, the room was huge for one person. Surprisingly, that shit had a fucking kitchen, a big ass bathroom, and one big studio area. Like, it was huge. I ended up settling myself in. I put my stuff down on the other bed, and I immediately pulled out my Nintendo Switch. But I noticed there was a mounted wood thing that was like blocking the outlets to where the TV, like right under the TV, that was also mounted to the wall. I ended up figuring out how to take that wood thing off. Surprisingly, it's like lifting, you just lift it straight upwards and pull it out. and it comes off like easy. And the TV was low-key kind of hard to maneuver through and put my HDMI in because it was like literally almost glued to the fucking wall. I don't know, it was annoying. But anyways, yeah, I figured out how to temporarily remove that wood thing, plugged in my Switch. Next thing I knew, shit, I was running Mario Kart with randoms at a hotel with shitty Wi-Fi. Like your boy was fucking lagging, bro. Shortly after playing Mario Kart for a while, I actually realized that I need food. Like Chick-fil-A ain't gonna like cut it for just one, for lunch. So I ended up going straight down to the lobby. I ordered an Uber and I took an Uber all the way up to Walmart. Once I made it to Walmart, I got me some pizza rolls. I got me a macaroni and cheese, one of those microwavable ones, and I even got me a 10 pack of Pepsi Zeros, I believe, the little mini cans. It was 10, right? Yeah, I believe so. And while I was there, I also noticed something oddly nostalgic about their Walmart. Now, ladies and gents, depending on where you're listening to this from, this might sound normal to y'all or maybe even confusing. Or shit, this might just be shocking to you too. But dead ass, they had plastic bags, bro. Plastic, like the same white Walmart plastic bags, like the bags that had their logo on it and it was plastic. Over here in Colorado, shit, we don't even have that. All we have is like the brown paper bags or the reusable blue bag. It was low-key kind of shocking to me, not gonna lie, that I literally had to take a picture and post it on the socials, fucking Snapchat and Instagram. Be like, whoa, holy shit. After buying the stuff, I Ubered back to the hotel and I proceeded to make my pizza rolls right away for dinner. I put them on a plate that the hotel provided, surprisingly, and I just threw them in the microwave for like 5 minutes. I played some more Mario Kart with some randoms, kept getting first place because I'm just goated like that, and I passed out. I called it a night. Day 2, August 1st, the fight day. So August 1st, I wake up early as fuck in the morning. I believe it was like around 7 or 8, somewhere around there. Keep in mind, this event doesn't even start till 12. I end up making my mac and cheese for breakfast, which honestly, yummy as fuck. Like, you can never go wrong with microwavable mac and cheese. Like, this shit is, oof, gas. Afterwards, I showered and I let all my friends and family know that it's time. Like, fight days today. Like, tune in, bro. Like, you guys need to watch this shit. After I hop out the shower, I'm low-key pacing back and forth because I was nervous as fuck. Like, I was genuinely shitting bricks, is what you would call it. For those of you that don't know, Street Beefs actually likes to match you up on the day of the event. So like you really have no clue who you're fighting until it's actually time to be there, you know? So in my mind, I'm just trying to warm up, play through scenarios in my head on how it's going to go, remembering my training that I've done, all the blood, sweat, and tears I put in at 3D. I'm getting prepared mentally. After a while of stretching and shadow boxing around the hotel looking like a crackhead, 11:30 a.m. rolls around and I start heading up to the lobby and ordering an Uber. The Uber kind of takes a while to get there, but eventually he shows up, and honestly, he was a really nice white guy. He was some older white guy, again, just making an honest living, you know. Respect, respect. He was asking where I was going because he noticed the address as well. He noticed the address, and on the map, honestly, dude, the map makes it look so fucking shady. Like on the map, it just shows you're going down a trail into like a deep forest. Like it looks shady as fuck, and it makes it look like you're doing some illegal shit. He ended up like asking me like, "What is this place? Like, where do you have me taking you?" And I tried explaining like, "Yeah, it's Street Beefs. Like they do this thing. They're very popular on YouTube. Yada yada yada." And he was like, "Oh, like I took people there before," and I was like, "Yeah, that's what that is." He's like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense." But anyways, I make it to the event and holy shit. The same feeling I got last year kicked back in immediately. All I saw was just a shit ton of dudes who were shirtless, hand wraps, and even sometimes some of them with gloves on. Some were buff as fuck, and some of them were even out of shape. Some were tall as fuck, and some were even shorter than me. A huge wave of nervousness honestly hit me the moment that I exited that car. It didn't help that some dudes were just eyeing me as I was walking up to the cage. Right as I showed up, they started calling out for matchups and told everyone to get in the cage so they could match people up for their opponents. After a while of everyone, including me, saying like their weight and experience for the fights, I ended up getting matched with this guy making his debut that day. I think he goes by Ewan or Ewan. I don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I'm gonna just call you Ewan just because that's how it's spelled. I don't know. You said Ewan in the video. Okay, I'm gonna just call you Ewan, bro. But anyways, I match up with Ewan. Eventually, we made our way to the table where they ask for our IDs and they make us write our names on the paper, like our fight names, so they know who to call out when it's time. And yeah, while I was waiting in that line, I was getting to know the dude. And Ewan, he's honestly a genuine kid, bro. Like he seems like a scary dude because he had his cornrows in and shit. But he's a really nice guy, bro. He's a really nice kid. He's good. And by the way, bro, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing good. And honestly, I hope you go back, bro. For real. I want to see you fight again, bro. Like you definitely got some skill. You got that dog in you, bro. For real. But anyways, I started getting warmed up around outside the cage, and then they started calling the fights one by one. The fights are happening in the boxing ring and in the MMA cage. After a while of waiting and getting warmed up, I ended up asking the lady who signed us up how far along were they in the event because it honestly was kind of taking a while. She ended up pointing out our names and where they were at, and we were like only 5 fights away from actually being in. But shortly after that, I see the owner himself, Scarface, go up to tell his sons that there was a parking issue happening over at the entrance. He then yells at everyone who was around that whoever is parked blocking the driveway needs to move their damn car because I guess they were blocking like the entrance to the plot of land, you know. And there was even some people who were parking up at the neighbor's house, which he was also getting on their ass about. After a while of announcing it and nobody moving, he eventually just got fed up and canceled the event temporarily. After the fight that was currently happening ended, no more fights were gonna happen until those cars got fixed. Everyone was pissed, including me, because I was warmed up and ready to go. Like I was doing so much shadow boxing, so much everything, getting myself mentally prepared just for more delays for no reason. So I'm just standing there, you know, trying so hard to stay warmed up. I'm bouncing around, throwing punches, just hoping my adrenaline doesn't dump right away. After a while, the cars finally get situated and they go back to calling more fights. Eventually, after a while, they end up calling me and Ewan away to film our intros away from the cage, like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? Where you from? Yada, yada, yada. But anyways, the fight finally comes. We both hop in the cage and we do our thing. We're scrapping. And to be honest, bro, I unleashed my inner Khabib, bro. Khabib Nurmagomedov. I started wrestling, bro. Like, the moment he first came forward at me, takedown. He got back up, take back down. Like, eventually we go all the rounds and they end up deciding it's a majority draw, which it is what it is, you know. After getting both our hands raised, I sat down at my corner and I let all of my adrenaline finally dump as they were calling up the next fight. Once it finally dumped, I noticed a big ass pain in my foot when I walked. I literally had to limp or walk like a penguin to move around. Once I waddled my way up to Ewan, I congratulated him and I even took a picture with him and I talked to him and his dad. Told him like, hey, he's good at this shit, bro. You got that dog in you, bro. Keep coming back, bro, for real. But shortly after that picture, I ordered an Uber right away. I didn't want to stick around because the sun was starting to come out and it was getting hot, and yeah, I was already like hurting on my foot. So I ordered the Uber. And I go straight back to Apple Blossom for another round of Chick-fil-A because I was hungry. After sitting there and finished my meal, I Ubered back to the hotel. Now pay attention here because this is where key details matter now. In this Uber ride, I met this driver by the name of Spencer. Nice guy, just earning an honest buck doing rideshare. Cool. As I'm on my way to the hotel, I'm filling him in on what Street Beefs is because he asked about it. I filled him in on what I do on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. I told him I stream, I do podcasts, stuff like that. Now I want y'all to keep him in mind because like I said, he's going to matter again on the third day, aka my last day there. So I get to the hotel and I immediately lay down. I'm exhausted and my foot is swelling up. I put back the wood thing on the wall. I unplugged my switch dock and packed up everything. Toiletries, cords, switch, and even my clothes. Once it was all packed and ready to go, I set my alarm for 1:30 in the morning. I was going to wake up and order an Uber at 3 o'clock and get to the airport since my flight was at 6 a.m. After setting the alarm, I passed the fuck out. And honestly, I had the best dream of my life. I wish I remembered it, but I remember telling my girl at the time about it. Day 3, August 2nd. I wake up at 1:30 a.m. I put my shoes on, which was kind of painful on my right foot because of the swelling. And I waited a while in the room until 2 o'clock hit. Now keep in mind, the original plan was to Uber or Lyft at 3 in the morning to the airport. I head to the lobby at 2 with all my stuff and I ordered a Lyft first. Now Lyft has this feature where you can see active cars on the map as it's searching for a driver. I seen that there were 4 cars active in the area. So I'm thinking, cool, at least one has to accept, right? Nope. I see some of the cars just disappear to the point there was only one car in the area and the other looked to be 10 miles north. Lyft also has this timer feature where it says something like, we'll show you your driver's information in 6 minutes. So I'm waiting, and as the time keeps going down from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1, and eventually 0. Once it hits 0, it just says searching for driver. Now at first I was confused, but I canceled the ride and just tried it again. And this time, I ended up matching with Spencer again as my driver. In my mind, I'm thinking, yes, like I'm saved, I'm good. But then, just when I least expected it, he canceled. I was shook. I didn't know what to think and was just hoping another driver would accept at least. After a while of waiting, it finally reached 2:30 a.m., and that's when panic started settling in. I canceled and tried it again with no success. I started looking up taxi companies in the area, which I found one that claimed to be 24 hours. I attempted to call them 3 times, but nobody answered. I started freaking out so bad. I eventually asked the receptionist at the hotel if there's any way he knew a taxi company that could take me to Dulles, VA. After a while of searching online, he points me to the same taxi company that I already called. I tried calling again and still got no response. And I ain't gonna lie, I almost started crying there because I wasn't prepared to be homeless out there. And I was figuring out a way to beg my mom or grandma to even get me a plane ticket, which would have probably made me homeless out there for more than one day. At around 2:45 a.m., I sent a prayer to God hoping he'd help me find a way there. And this time, I tried the Uber app. I tried a regular ride for $100, but still got no success finding somebody. Until a feature popped up called Uber X Priority or something like that. I don't really remember what it was called. Basically, it said that they charge an extra 30 for priority pickup. With no other choice in mind, I clicked it. Shortly afterwards, Spencer was my driver again. Without wasting any time, I texted him on the app, "Please don't cancel. I'm sorry for the long distance, but I really need to get to the airport. I promise I'll tip you. Just please take me." He read it after dropping off somebody else, and I honestly thought he was gonna cancel or ignore it, but he replied. He said, "Yeah, I got you. I'll be on my way." I look on the map and his car is actually coming towards me. I took the biggest sigh of relief as all my stress and anxiety just washed away from seeing that. Eventually, around 3:02ish, Spencer arrives. I put my things in his trunk and got in the car. As we were leaving, he said, "Sorry for canceling earlier. Lyft was only paying me $20 for that hour-long ride. Then I saw you did it again, and I realized this kid really needs a ride." All I was saying was, "I appreciate you, and I promised I was gonna tip you." I had no words. I didn't know what I was supposed to say because one part of me was like, damn, but the other part was like, fuck, I'm saved. Thank you. He then just tells me, like, sit back, get comfortable. Like, I got you. And I'm not going to lie, I almost cried in his car because of how lucky I really got. I truly believe that that was God sending, like, him to me. What are the odds that 2 times in a row? And it happens right after I send a prayer to him. Eventually, I made it to the airport at around 4:10ish when I tipped him my last $20, making it a $150 Uber ride. I thanked him and shook his hand before I went in. And of course, TSA took a while to get through, but eventually, I finally made it. And I waddled my way through my gate where I sat down and waited for my flight. 5:30 a.m. comes and they finally start calling people to board the plane to go back to Denver. And that concludes the story of how I almost got stranded in Virginia. Honestly, it was a scary situation. I'm truly glad that he had a change of heart and decided to take me. I don't know what would have happened realistically if he didn't. So, Spencer, if you're watching this, dude, you're a legend. Thank you for not letting this kid who's not even from Virginia get stranded out there. I'm sorry for the short story, y'all. Fortunately, that's going to be it. I promise more topics will be coming up, longer topics, hopefully nothing that's like 20 minutes or even less than 20 like my last episode. But thank you all so much for listening. I appreciate, love all the support. And as always, tune in next time on 392 Talks. Love you all.